Have you ever opened your eyes in the pitch black of your bedroom, looked at the glowing numbers on your digital clock, and sighed heavily because it is exactly 3 in the morning again? You are not alone. Millions of seniors over the age of 65 suffer from this exact same frustrating cycle every single night. You lie there staring at the ceiling, your mind suddenly racing with thoughts, wondering why your body refuses to stay asleep until morning. Your doctor might tell you that this is just a normal part of getting older. They might hand you a prescription for heavy sleeping pills or tell you to drink chamomile tea before bed. But those generic solutions completely ignore the biological reality of what is happening inside your aging brain. Waking up at 3 in the morning is not a character flaw, and it is not a lack of being tired. It is a very specific biological signaling error. In this ultimate guide, we are going to look deep inside the biology of senior sleep. I am going to explain the fascinating reason why your brain forgets how to stay asleep. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact 3-pillar protocol of light, temperature, and obscure supplementation to permanently reset your internal clock. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to reclaim the deep, uninterrupted rest that your body desperately needs to protect your memory and your independence. Let us start by destroying the biggest myth about aging and sleep. People think that as you get older, you simply need less sleep. That is biologically false. A 70-year-old brain requires the exact same amount of restorative sleep as a 30-year-old brain. The problem is not that your need for sleep decreases. The problem is that your brain loses its structural ability to generate deep sleep. To understand why you wake up at 3 in the morning, we have to look at a tiny, pine cone-shaped structure deep inside the center of your brain called the pineal gland. Think of the pineal gland as the master antenna of your entire body. Its primary job is to release melatonin, the chemical signal that opens the door to sleep. When you are young, this gland is soft and highly active. But as we cross into our 60s and 70s, a bizarre phenomenon occurs. The pineal gland begins to calcify. Tiny crystals of calcium actually build up on the gland, forming a hard shell around it. Because of this natural calcification process, the aging pineal gland produces up to 80% less melatonin than it did when you were younger. The chemical signal that tells your nervous system to stay asleep is simply too weak to last through the entire night. It runs out of power halfway through, right around 3 in the morning. When the melatonin drops, your brain thinks the night is over, and it forces you to wake up. But the calcification of the pineal gland is only half of the story. We also have to talk about the architecture of your sleep cycle. When you close your eyes at night, you do not just fall into a single state of unconsciousness. Your brain travels down a staircase into different stages of sleep. The absolute bottom of that staircase is stage 4, known as deep delta wave sleep. This is the holy grail of human health. During deep delta wave sleep, your body paralyzed itself so it can perform massive repairs. Your immune system rebuilds its defenses. Your cells repair their DNA. Most importantly, a microscopic plumbing network in your brain called the glymphatic system opens up and physically washes away the toxic plaque that builds up during the day, the exact same plaque that is linked to Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Deep sleep is your biological armor, but as we age, the brain struggles to reach the bottom of the staircase. Instead of spending hours in deep delta wave sleep, seniors spend the vast majority of the night hovering in the shallow waters of stage 1 and stage 2 light sleep. Because you are hovering in light sleep, the slightest change in your environment, a dog barking, a change in room temperature, or the urge to use the bathroom, is enough to rip you out of your sleep cycle entirely. You wake up exhausted because your brain spent the entire night skipping the only stage of sleep that actually restores your physical energy and consolidates your memory. So, how do we fight back against the calcified pineal gland and a shallow sleep architecture? How do we force the brain to sink back down into deep delta wave sleep? The answer begins with pillar number 1, the absolute mastery of light. Your internal body clock, known as the circadian rhythm, is blind. It relies completely on the light entering your eyes to know what time it is. The single most powerful tool you have to stop waking up at 3 in the morning is not a pill. It is the sun. Every single morning, before 9 a.m., you must go outside and expose your bare eyes to natural sunlight for at least 15 minutes. You cannot wear sunglasses. And you cannot do it sitting behind a glass window, because ordinary window glass filters out the specific wavelengths of light your brain needs to see. When bright morning sunlight hits the photoreceptors in your retina, it sends a massive shock wave of electricity directly to the master clock in your brain. This light exposure does 2 critical things. First, it shuts down any lingering melatonin from the night before, clearing away your morning grogginess. Second, and this is the vital secret, it sets a biological timer for exactly 16 hours later. By seeing bright light at 8 in the morning, you are mathematically programming your pineal gland to release a massive surge of natural sleep hormones at midnight. If you stay inside your dimly lit house all morning, reading the paper or watching television, your brain never receives that powerful light anchor. Your internal clock begins to drift aimlessly, leading directly to fragmented sleep and early morning awakenings. You must anchor your brain to the sun the moment you wake up, but managing morning light is useless if you destroy the signal at night. This brings us to the modern deception of blue light. For hundreds of thousands of years, the only light humans saw after sunset was the warm orange glow of a fire. Our biology is perfectly adapted to darkness, but today, seniors sit in their living rooms until 11 at night, staring at bright flat-screen televisions, scrolling through smartphones, or reading on glowing tablets. These electronic devices emit a massive amount of concentrated blue light. Blue light is the exact same wavelength of light that the sun produces at high noon. When this artificial light enters your eyes late in the evening, it actively tricks your aging pineal gland. It tells your brain that the sun is still high in the sky and that it needs to stay awake and alert. The tiny bit of natural melatonin your calcified gland is trying to produce gets instantly wiped out by the light from your television screen. To fix your broken sleep architecture, you must create a blackout period. At least 90 minutes before you intend to sleep, you must turn off all the bright overhead LED lights in your home. Switch to small table lamps with warm, amber-colored bulbs. If you must watch television or use a tablet, you must wear amber-tinted blue light-blocking glasses. These glasses cost practically nothing, but they act as a physical shield for your circadian rhythm. By blocking the blue spectrum of light, you allow your brain to naturally wind down and build the chemical pressure it needs to cross the threshold into deep sleep. Mastering the contrast between brilliant morning sunlight and absolute evening darkness is the non-negotiable foundation of rebuilding a senior sleep cycle. But mastering light is only the first pillar. The second pillar is something almost nobody thinks about when they climb into bed: the biological manipulation of your core body temperature. When the sun goes down, your biology is programmed to cool off. In order for your brain to successfully cross the threshold into deep, stage 4 sleep, your core body temperature must drop by 1 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. If your core stays too warm, your brain will actively fight against falling asleep, and it will easily wake you up at 3 in the morning. Many seniors make the mistake of keeping their bedroom thermostat set high or burying themselves under heavy, thick blankets because they feel cold at the surface of their skin. But your surface temperature and your core temperature are completely different. To fix your sleep, you must lower your core, and the absolute best way to do this involves a fascinating biological trick: the hot bath effect. It sounds completely counterintuitive. Why would taking a hot bath lower your body temperature when you soak your body in warm water about 1 hour before you want to sleep? A process called vasodilation happens. The warm water causes the blood vessels in your skin, especially in your hands and your feet, to open up wide. Your body pulls all the deep, trapped heat out of your core and pushes it to the surface of your skin to escape. When you step out of the bath and into a cool bedroom, that heat rapidly evaporates off your body. Your core temperature plummets beautifully, sending a massive, undeniable signal to your brain that it is time to shut down. Setting your bedroom thermostat to 65 degrees and taking a warm bath 90 minutes before bed is one of the most powerful sleep interventions ever discovered by science. This brings us to the third and final pillar, the controversial truth about sleep supplements. If you struggle with waking up in the middle of the night, you probably have a bottle of melatonin sitting on your nightstand right now. Melatonin is the most popular sleep supplement in the world. But for a senior brain, taking synthetic melatonin is often a massive mistake. When you take a generic pill containing 5 or 10 milligrams of melatonin, you are flooding your brain with up to 100 times more of the hormone than your pineal gland would ever produce naturally. This massive chemical flood crashes your system. It might force you to fall asleep quickly, but it completely destroys the delicate architecture of your sleep cycle. Heavy melatonin use in seniors is linked to vivid, terrifying nightmares and a deep, heavy brain fog that ruins your energy the entire next day. It is a chemical sledgehammer when you actually need a scalpel. Instead of generic melatonin, clinical sleep researchers are now pointing to an obscure, naturally occurring amino acid called glycine. Glycine is brilliant for the aging brain because it does not force you into a chemical coma. Instead, it works in perfect harmony with your body temperature. When you take 3 grams of glycine about an hour before bed, it actively binds to receptors in your brain that calm the central nervous system down, stopping that racing mind that keeps you awake. More importantly, glycine physically pushes blood to your extremities, helping your core body temperature drop even faster. It acts like a biological thermostat, smoothly guiding you down the staircase into deep delta wave sleep without any morning grogginess. By simply taking 3 grams of this sweet-tasting powder mixed in a small glass of water before bed, you provide your nervous system with the exact raw materials it needs to stay asleep safely through the 3 a.m. danger zone. Let us summarize this definitive sleep protocol for the aging brain. First, you must anchor your circadian rhythm by getting 15 minutes of bright, natural sunlight in your bare eyes before 9 in the morning. Second, you must create a blackout period by wearing amber-tinted glasses to block artificial blue light 90 minutes before bed. Third, you must force your core body temperature to drop by keeping your bedroom cool and taking a warm bath to trigger vasodilation. And finally, you must throw away the heavy synthetic melatonin and consider replacing it with 3 grams of the cooling amino acid, glycine. Fixing your sleep is not about taking heavier and heavier sedatives. It is about respecting the biological machinery of your brain and giving it the exact environmental signals it needs to heal itself. You do not have to accept waking up at 3 in the morning as a normal part of getting older. You can rebuild your deep sleep and protect your memory. Now, I want to hear from our community. Do you struggle with the 3 a.m. wake-up cycle? Have you been relying on high doses of melatonin and feeling groggy the next day? Please leave a comment below right now and share your story, because your experience helps other seniors realize they are not alone. If this ultimate guide helped you understand your body better, please hit the subscribe button right now to join our growing community, and hit the like button so the algorithm shares this vital science with others who desperately need a good night of rest. We are here to protect your independence with the absolute truth. Thank you for watching, and I will sleep you in the next video.